Welcome to the Geek Easy, fellow geeks. Let's open a beverage of your choice. Because today we are having another episode of Frightful Fridays, which I will be doing the prequel to the movie that I did last week. The movie last week was X. This one is a prequel, and then there's one more called it was Maxine. Okay, so this movie is called Pearl. Now, Pearl, again, is the sequel, and this is... X was about a group of people who, in 1979, who kind of rented out this farm out in the middle of nowhere, I think it was Texas, so they could shoot a porn movie. They were going to make it kind of a high-class porn movie at the very beginnings of the home video market. And because they figured, hey, this is going to be big, so they can make it. And then they ran into the creepy old couple who ran the place, and things went horribly bad. Now, Mia Goth played what turned out to be the central character in that movie. She was the star of the movie that they were going to make, and it was her and a couple other people, Jenna. I knew her name 2 seconds ago. Scream, all these other movies. She was also in there, but anyway, there was this old couple who turned out to be the bad guys, and there was some really, 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 really creepy people. And for some reason, they felt it necessary to do a prequel movie, an origin story of not just the old couple, but the wife from that movie, who was sort of the main bad guy of, the two older couples. Even though they were both bad, I guess the guy took, he was a little bit dominated by her. So this is her story. Now, it takes place in the summer of 1918, the waning days of World War I. And Pearl, who is the woman, is I'm guessing, teenager, maybe, played by Mia Goth again, so she's playing a character, obviously, that she wasn't in the other movie, but she's playing the younger version of the woman, who is she is married to a guy, and I guess it turns out to be her husband in this movie, but he is off in Europe fighting World War I. And she lives at home with her on a farm, which is the same farm that X took place on. On a farm with her German immigrant parents. Her father, well, they're in the They also are having a. There was also a huge influenza outbreak at the time. That was sort of like the big pandemic back then, and so they had to be really careful that her husband, the father, had gotten, and he can't speak, and they have to take care of him. They're German, and so they're you know a huge backlash against Germans due to what's going on in Europe with because we fought the Germans in World War One as well. So they were just having all sorts of issues, and Pearl there is a a similarity between Maya Goth's character in X and this character. They both want to be really famous, and Pearl she's kind of her mother is really strict just because it's I think that maybe just they're having money problems due to everything that's going on, and they're German, so people aren't going to want to do business with them. They're having a hard time. So she has to stay at home and help out on the farm. She can't do anything to carry out her dreams. And her mom is kind of strict and unpleasant. And Pearl you sort of seem like she's innocent and demure and all that. But as time goes on, you find out that she's really kind of this horrible, just petulant person who just doesn't, it's only her way or no way at all. She kills animals, innocent animals. She meets a projectionist at a movie theater that she snuck off to because she dreams of being a dancer, so she had to go into town to get her father's medicine. She rode a bike in there, and she snuck to the theaters, paid a few cents to watch this movie, a silent movie about dancers, because she wants to be a dancer and go become rich and famous and get away from her hard life on the farm. Meets the projectionist, winds up having a fling with him, and he begins to realize that there's something horribly wrong with this girl. And you go on, and you catch at the end of the movie, and there's the it comes to the inevitable ending, and I'm sitting there watching this movie, and I'm like, this isn't even really a horror movie. It's more, it's an origin story of a horror a minor horror character, because seriously doubt they are going to have that woman back in Maxine. In fact, I've seen the previews for it, and she's not in the sequel, but she was also the scary part was it was just two old people who were doing horrible things. So it's not like there's some sort of this explaining how she got her, how she became this supernatural thing, sort of like a Freddy or something like that. You just see this kind of spoiled bitch character, throwing tantrums because she couldn't have her way. And they were doing it in kind of some of it was done like she's the world would look like she's imagining it, then the rest not. You really, I'm sitting there watching, why do we need to know this information about this character? And it was kind of, it's more of a character study, slash origin than anything else. And you just, is this supposed to be a horror movie? And it was kind of drawn out, boring, a little overly done, I think. And, you have the two characters, the mother, the wife and the husband. The husband is only mentioned throughout the movie, except for the last 3 or 4 minutes of the movie in which he shows up. So you don't see what, how he became involved with all this stuff, or why is he like her, or, how he became this nasty old man when he was in there. So it just, I found it hard to kind of watch, just because not that it was, gruesome or anything. There was not even all that many good kills. It was just uninteresting and boring. And the Pearl was a character that there's just no qualities that you'd want to, a lot of, say bad guys or something like that, the major bad guys, you can find something about them that was interesting, or at least the process of how they became that way could be interesting. But there was nothing about this, that I found interesting at all. And it was just kind of like, why? What is the point? What do you, why? And at the end, there was really no answers for just about anything. You could see the beginning of a certain part you saw at the end of the first movie, but there's nothing. And I really can't recommend watching this movie. If you liked X, which was a pretty good movie, I suggest you skip the Pearl altogether. Now, I haven't seen Maxine. I'm probably going to watch that for next week. And I will, hopefully I'll remember to let you know whether you should just, I am recommending you skip Pearl altogether, but if you should just watch X and Maxine and, or maybe just stay at X. But so far, watch X, skip Pearl, because I would give it a 1, because it's shot well. The other characters are somewhat interesting and, acted well. And I think, my God, I'm not criticizing her acting. I mean, she helped write this movie and obviously wrote that character. But that character was just so unlikable and, overly done that I just couldn't. I was like, dude, don't care. So that's one of the main things that just took me out of it. It's just no sympathy for her. No. It's like, yeah, yeah. So anyway, I'm just gonna give it. Did I say a 1? Yeah, I'll give it a 1 out of 5, and just say, forget it. But anyway, let me know what you thought of it, if you saw it, and like, subscribe, most of all. Enjoy your horror movies.